We've never had a guest geographically this far away, but yet so close as he covers a team that we know so well. His brother does fantastic work. He knows his shit, and I mean that in the most respectful way possible. Joining us from the wonderful, beautiful world and down under. Like I said, we're going down under. The one and only Steelers Australia's own, the good brother Mark, the newest member of the Flex Zone family, repping those Steelers. And let's hear what he's got to say. Welcome him to the Flex Zone. Put your hands together for Mark from Steelers Australia.
Yes.
What's up, man?
How are you? What's happening? Oh, that's my intro too. Excellent.
Mark, what is up, my guy? How you feeling, man?
Man, I'm just chilling out, dude. I'm just enjoying the off season. It's my 1:30 p.m. and you're like 10:30 p.m. over there on the East Coast. But yeah, I'm just having a good time. Trying to get pumped up and motivated for the Steelers off season. And now we have a quarterback, and you guys will think he's not the best, but we kind of like him here in Pittsburgh. But I'm having a good time, man. I appreciate you guys having me on the show. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
How can the people keep up with you and just tell your story? What brought you to the YouTube? How did you get started? Your background, becoming a Steelers fan, and show off that wonderful shirt you got, by the way, for the
yeah, dude. Look. I know a lot of Steelers fans don't like Mike Tomlin. I think Mike Tomlin's one of the best coaches ever, and I will be going to his Hall of Fame because he's my coach. I've been following the and I bought this in Pittsburgh. But he's I know some of the Steelers fans want him gone, but that makes no sense to me because if you fire him today, he's going to find a job the next 10 minutes, right? I've been a Steelers fan since 2002. I started watching. That's when my first time I started watching. But I started watching the NFL basically more or less through movies. Like Remember the Titans, The Replacements, all those kind of movies back in the day. The Little Giants, like the little kids movie, so stuff like that. The Waterboy, and I started watching because near the 2000s, man. And I'm like 35, right? So I'm like a 90s kid. Around that time. I think there was a lot of football movies on, and it really just my head exploded and went, oh, I like this sport. This sport's fun. How do I learn more about it? Then I started playing the Madden games, like in 1995. I think it was on Sega or PS1 or something like that. Started playing Madden. Then I started playing Madden on PS2. Madden 2004 is one of the best games ever created. / also NFL Street #1. And I know Roger Goodell won't bring back NFL Street. Can I swear on this podcast or not?
I told you, say what you got to say, brother.
They're fucking dumb. They need to bring back NFL Street. Could you imagine having like Lamar Jackson and stuff like that, or Burrows, or Josh Allen, or
did they say how much money they can make off of us gamers?
I would buy it in a heart. If it was the same game to NFL Street 1, the same like feel to it, I would buy it in a heartbeat because that same year as well, NFL Street 1, they made NFL Street 2 the exact same year. I can't remember the last time that a company has done that from like January to like December. They made 1 and 2. That was my childhood learning football. I played that game consistently where I wouldn't even go outside, which wasn't a bad thing because outside it's like, there's deadly dangerous snakes and spiders and whatnot. So that game is one of the best games ever created at NFL Street and also Madden 2004 and stuff like that. So that's when my love of NFL began around that. And then I really started to follow the Steelers, and you guys probably aren't going to like this, but I just follow the Steelers based on the colors, man, because I thought black and gold was cool. Back then, I thought it was black and yellow, but I do know it's black and gold. Wiz Khalifa kind of like changed a few fans' mindset, but it is black and gold for sure. It's not black and yellow. It goes all the way back to the Pittsburgh history and the coat of arms and stuff like that from Sir William Pitt in Pittsburgh. It was his family crest, goes all the way back there. So I followed that based on the colors. It could have been any other color. I like blue. I'm lucky I don't like orange because there's no fucking way I want to be a Browns fan or a Bengals fan, right? So I'm lucky in that sense. There it is there, dude. Great game. Great game. Honest to goodness, like one of the best. And you just had Michael Vick run a 99 speed. That's all you needed was him run up and down the field. So yeah, just in a quick nutshell, Steelers fan for 23 something years now, whatever it may be since. And I've really started to learn the game though more and more around 2007. And then Steelers went on their run to win Super Bowl 43. That's when I started to understand the game And then every year you just learn more and more as you play.
Interesting. I have a quite of a similar arc as you. I got into the game around 2001, pretty much when we won the Super Bowl. Also, Madden 2004. I still have the game, and believe it or not, I do have Madden NFL 95. So I have it on Sega Genesis.
That was Sega, right?
Yeah,
Sega?
Sega
Yeah,
Genesis.
yeah. So I must have played that with my brothers. I remember pressing the A or B button, and you're hearing Jordan Madden speak and whatnot, and you throw the ball up, and if you caught it, it lit up orange, and if you didn't, that was it.
Yeah,
like that was so simple.
And then if you like got away from the defender, the receiver would be like, I'm gone. That joint was crazy.
Yeah,
but yeah,
it was really fun.
Yeah, but I have a similar arc as you, and I became a Ravens fan pretty much officially around 2000, 2001. But my question to you is this. Since you're a Steelers fan, and I cannot stand the goddamn Steelers, but I do love Mike Tomlin like you do. I think Mike Tomlin is one of the greatest coaches that's coaching today. He doesn't get enough credit.
He doesn't.
For the things that he's done in the NFL, especially since y'all haven't had an actual quarterback besides Russell Wilson last year. But besides when Ben retired, y'all went through this stretch of, maybe he'll get it done, maybe he won't. But we all know that Mike Tomlin's going to have a winning record at the end of the year, type of thing. Is Aaron Rodgers coming to y'all team? Do y'all think you're going to get Aaron, or do you think Russell Wilson's coming back?
Okay, do I think we're going to get him? I think there's a small chance that they could. I don't think overly need him though. I'm not a huge fan of Aaron Rodgers. I never have been. I think he throws his players and coaches and other teammates under the bus. I think he's got a high ego. I think if he wanted to sign already, they would have signed. It's a bit like Russell Wilson too. If they wanted to sign Russell Wilson, maybe it would have happened already. So in my live today, we're talking about that. But in terms of Aaron Rodgers, do I think the Steelers could get him? Yes, for sure. Do I want the Steelers to get him? No way. I think he would be an absolute toxic cancer to the locker room, to the team. And I don't think he's the right move at a certain price that he's looking for, like maybe $35, $40 million a year. I think right now, as it stands, I'm happy with Mason Rudolph, even though maybe the collective 31 other teams would say, oh, Mason Rudolph stinks. I can see that. But from a Pittsburgh Steelers fan point of view, a lot of us are very happy if they run it back, have a normal year, do some Rudolph magic, get us to 10 wins, we might go to the playoffs, and he's playing at a cheap price. Don't want to bring in Aaron Rodgers because I don't think he fits overall the Steeler attitude. I think it's going to be more about him than it would actually be about the team. And he's older, man. Like, you guys seen him with the Jets last year? He sucked. Yeah. Like, there was some TDs, yes and yes, but there was like 40-something sacks. He's not going to win you games. And he had he had a really good end of the season game in week 17. He went off, got 3 TDs or whatever. But some other games I saw, he was getting sacked left, right, and center. He's slower. He's just, he's not, I don't think he's built forward to winning a championship. And the Jets thought they were like one player away being a QB, and then they got rid of him. I think Aaron Rodgers is playing his own game to sign somewhere one last deal, or he might retire. But I don't think he's going to overall fit the scheme that the Steelers want. So do I think the Steelers can sign him? Yes, but I really hope they don't.
I'm a Mike. I love Mike Tomlin. He's also one of my frat brothers, so I actually really admire the work that he's done with Pittsburgh. Like you said earlier, there's so much talk about getting rid of Mike Tomlin. Why do you think that is as being a Steelers fan?
I'll bring it up straight away. I think some of it has to do with a bit of race. Obviously Mike Tomlin's a black head coach. I think there's some part of that to it. Not all of it, but I think it's definitely some part. I think also there's a few negatives I'm going to bring up because I'm a huge Mike Tomlin supporter and I always will be. I don't even care if the bloke goes 3-14 the next 3 years. Like, I think he's done tremendous things for the club and getting us there. And if you were the boss, if you were the Art Rooney's, and you knew that Mike Tomlin gave you a chance to win 10 games every season, you're not going to fire him. But I think the ins is in Pittsburgh. I think Steeler Nation is a little bit spoiled to a certain degree. That, like, in my lifetime watching the Steelers, there's only been one game ever that in the Mike Tomlin period, one game ever that we didn't have a chance to go to the playoffs. That makes sense. So only one meaningless game. Any other game, they've always had a 0.1% chance to go to the playoffs. If they win this one, they go to the playoffs. If we win this one, the Jags lose or Bills lose, then we're in. Only one game in the Mike Tomlin head coaching regime that has been, we can't do anything. So I think there's a lot of negative fans that just feel a bit spoiled in that sense. That's my guy. Hey, I don't mind running it back with him, mate. Honest to goodness, it'd be a funny season. I think he's a humble guy. Pittsburgh likes him. If the team gets around him, we have a few weapons here and there. But yeah, definitely the Mike Tomlin, I think, negative aspect comes from he people complain because he's not winning playoff games, but it's very tough to win playoff games. There are still 12 teams in the NFL that have never won a Super Bowl, including the Browns and the Bengals, and there are 4 teams that never been. Right? So only every year, only 32 teams, only one team wins it all. But yes, I do want to have Mike Tomlin to have a better season to win playoff games, and you guys kicked their ass like 100% last year. But I still think Mike Tomlin, it gives you the best chance to win right now. And if he were to be fired tomorrow, another team picks him up. So I think the negative fan base, I think the Yinzers out there in Pittsburgh don't know what they really have until it's gone. And let's be honest, I just think sometimes in sports, people complain for any reason. You know, I don't try and stay there. If you lose, like you guys kicked their ass, I was there. I was in that mindset of like being annoyed for like 2 days, but then you move on. You know what I mean? But Mike Tomlin has done some tremendous things for the Steelers, and yeah, he's never had a losing season. Like that's pretty hard to do. You know, even with you had Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph one year, you had Kenny Pickett and Trubisky. They didn't play. Then Rudolph saved the day. Russell Wilson and Fields last year. He's always trying to win and have a chance to win in the playoffs.
My question is, how do you feel about the pickup of DK Metcalf? Do you think him and George Pickens are going to be able to coincide together, or do you think they're going to crash out during some time in the season?
I think they'll work together if the Steelers keep George Pickens. George Pickens is on his last year of his contract. So we've been talking about, and there's Sean and Jedevil and Joey in the chat, some of my guys from Steel Oz. We've been talking about this too. George Pickens could be a trade prospect to go somewhere else because I know you guys probably saw the Bengals receiver thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if the Steelers are going to go that route. George Pickens is going to want some money. So you already paid DK Metcalf $150. Let's say George Pickens goes off this year, then you can't just drop him because that's his last year of his contract. Does he go and be a free agent, or do the Steelers, at this point in his last year of his contract, do the Steelers just go and trade him and get back a second rounder? So they're almost pushed really, either give him a big contract, similar to what T. Higgins maybe got, or they're going to push him towards a trade. You know what I mean? So I don't know what but in saying that, I think if Mason Rudolph does start, and he's our only quarterback on their roster right now, if he does start, then he's got 2 deep threats to throw the ball to in DK Metcalf and George Pickens. The thing is, what will the Steelers do in terms of the long-term future of Pickens? I like Pickens, but he definitely has a bit of an ego behind him. But it is super fun to go up and get a ball, a 70-30 ball, one hand and bring it down. So I'm not too for the organization. If they trade him away to get picks back, it makes sense. If he stays and they sign him to a 3 or 4 year deal after this 1 year, then that also makes sense too. If they can keep the money under what the Bengals pay, because they're now doing, I think 56% of the Bengals players is Joe Burrow, Chase, and T. Higgins. So I'm excited, man, to see DK Metcalf. I think it's a good move.
Well, we already know how the Steelers operate. I mean, from the times of Hines Ward, and then you had Santonio Holmes, and then you had Plexico Burris, and who else? God damn it.
Antonio Brown before he went crazy.
Antonio Brown before he went insane.
Mike Wallace.
Mike Wallace.
Mike
Wallace. You just had a plethora of wide receivers that you always find in the draft, and it would not behoove me to, if y'all did let him go, y'all find another guy in the draft that we never heard of, and then all of a sudden, boom, he's got 1,000 yards, and y'all know how to do that. That's what y'all do very well. Is y'all find
Juju as well before he kind of got injured and he left, and he's now got a 1 year contract with KC. Deontay Johnson, he was good, but then same time really bad. I've never seen a guy full fall forwards and like get tackled backwards. It was so weird. DJ, like, he was a good receiver for us, but just didn't fit us near the end. And you guys had him for a while too, right?
Yeah.
Or the Ravens guys. I shouldn't say everyone had.
Yeah, we had
Ravens.
Deontay Johnson for a
Martavius
couple.
Bryant. Wow, throwing it back.
Yeah, he was fun too. They called him the alien. He was really good.
But how do you feel about this Ravens and Steelers rivalry throughout the years? I mean, we had a bunch of knockout, drag out. I've been to a lot of them games too, and I always I can't stand playing y'all. I just hate playing y'all because I already know we're gonna get y'all best effort. They're gonna find a way. Like y'all did this past season when we played in Pittsburgh. But how do you feel about these rivalries, man? Like, does it get your juices pumping? Is your
100%.
towel waving in the air? Once a big play happens, like how do you feel about this rivalry?
I got two quick stories for you. So I went to Steelers versus Ravens on Christmas Day in 2016. I was living and working over in Canada at the time, living in a place called Banff, and I got the hotel, the Fairmont in Pittsburgh because I worked for them. So I got like a really cheap deal, like $350 for the week was super cheap for a 4-star, 5-star hotel. As I'm there in Pittsburgh, right? It's Steelers versus Ravens, and it's coming up to the game. That was my first ever game I've been to. I've been to the city before, 2 times before, like we're just walking around, meeting people and stuff, having a good time. But when I was there, man, it was like probably one of the best days of my life was there Christmas Day, my first ever game. Steelers versus Ravens Christmas Day. One of my favorite plays, and I know you guys had your guy Joe Flacco. One of my favorite plays wasn't AB winning the division. It was actually Lawrence Timmons sacking Joe Flacco up the middle. That was fucking fantastic. Like, it was unreal to see. Another one of my favorite plays was the Big Ben pass to Eli Rogers, and he was like a 3rd or 4th stringer. He caught that ball so high above his head, it was absolutely insane. Like, it was madness. And then, of course, the big play was AB, but you don't get down the field by just AB. There was that catch to Eli Rogers, 3rd and something. If that doesn't happen, it doesn't exist. But I was in that stadium, man, 65,000 fans. They played a double renegade. It was super awesome. Steelers versus Ravens. I ended up going out on Christmas Day. I went to the bar, had a good time, had a few drinks and sherbets. It was great. I had an awesome time. The Steelers versus Ravens rivalry goes back, though, to Ray Lewis, right? Mm-hmm. And I actually met the guy. Well, when I say met, he bumped me when I was on TV in Houston, Super Bowl 51. I walked past his tent, where they have all the cameras and stuff like that, and they have all the stuff doing filming and shit like that. I walked past, they had about 4 beers in me, and I was like, I want to be on TV. And this director, she called my bluff, and she was like, all right, come on. And I went, oh, I'm not ready. She called my bluff, brought me in. I was part of the set, like Get Up and Go or something like that. I don't know what it was. And then as I'm walking around, I was standing next to the TV. The players would walk up to a TV and sign if they wanted the Falcons to win or the Tom Brady Patriots to win. And then Ray Lewis was there. He saw me wearing my jersey, and I kid you not, he walked past me on purpose on the phone and gave me a bump like that. And I went, holy shit. I was like, this guy's huge, man. Like, I know he did it on purpose because he hates the Steelers. And my mate there was my mate Brady. He was a Patriot fan. He said, go and get a photo with him. I said, fuck no. He doesn't want to talk to me. He doesn't want to talk to me in a Steelers. There's no way. Because then he walked past and gave me a bit of a shoulder like that. Not too hard, but enough to be like, hey, what are you doing?
Did it hurt?
So, no, it didn't hurt, but I know he was doing it on purpose. So like, hey, I'm just here. Like, he wasn't trying to injure me, but it was pretty funny, right? Because like I'm not
crazy.
Yeah, I don't, like, it's not like going to do a hit stick. But my mate was like, oh, go get a photo. I'm like, mate, these players, some of them don't want to get photos with Steelers fans or Steelers jerseys, or some don't want to sign your Steelers hat. They still have the hatred inside them because it was that big back in the 2008 when our teams were super crazy on defense. From Troy and Ed Reed and Ray Lewis and all these kind of blokes, right? And we had James Farrier and Debo Harrison is one of my favorite Steeler ever. So they have that like hatred inside them. They're not going to want to sign like James Debo Harrison. You hand him a Raven hat, he won't want to sign a Raven hat. So I don't think there's any way that Ray Lewis would want to have a photo with me. So, anyways, he walked past and gave me a bump. I thought it was pretty cool. I was like, that's pretty insane.
I love in the wrestling community call it like the kayfabe, still sticking with it. I like that. Let me ask you about I heard Roger asking you about the offense with the wide receivers. Do you feel like Pittsburgh will ever transition to a offensive like an offensive mindset, or do you think that they're still with that defensive culture always?
It's a good question. It's very tough because what they really do now is they try and get, like with Najee Harris, and he's now gone to the Chargers. They try and get a running back number one and have some sparing running back number two, Warren. They try and feed them maybe 60-40, something like that, and play defense. But the way that Mike Tomlin coaches, I know some don't like it, but it's the way he does things. He tries to keep games close. He's not making foolish errors or quarterbacks aren't throwing silly interceptions or fumbles or whatever it may be. He's keeping the game close 27-20, you know what I mean? So it is more defense, but I go back to how you guys ran over us with the Ravens game. That was just despicable to allow you guys, and you're super talented for Jackson and Derrick Henry, but to allow 299 yards is terrible. So the Steelers are built on defense, built on teams, and we don't overly have a flashy quarterback right now, but they just got to run the rock, keep time possession, like most football teams, and play solid defense. But when you're not checked in like that, they had a super tough run. Not an excuse, but they had a tough run with 5 games and Ravens, Chiefs, and Eagles and that kind of stuff. Then we versed you guys in the playoffs, and that was super tough, right? I believe we played in your house, right? We played in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Yep.
There you go. It's even tougher. So that was a very hard game to win, and you guys just ran over us. So you couldn't stop Derrick Henry. So you guys were in playoff mode. But yeah, Steelers are normally heading towards that defense/run, and then just don't make mistakes passing the ball.
And let me ask you a follow-up question, because you mentioned Najee Harris. Why do you think they got rid of him, being that he's been 1,000-yard back, and in spite of y'all offensive struggles, he still was able to overcome that, but yet y'all still let him go?
I think because we didn't franchise tag Najee Harris, but I think after that might have been a Steelers mistake. But I don't think the Steelers or Najee really fit the Steelers run scheme. Like, they were trying to go a lot of halfback tosses to the outside. He's more of the north and south runner. So in one sense, the Steelers didn't. There's a reason why they didn't bring him back. Maybe they go into the draft and get another running back, and they didn't want to pay him. I think it was like $7 million, but that was quite cheap for the Chargers. On the other side, though, I feel like Najee Harris was ready to go. I think when you kind of know when players are just on the move and they won't come back to be a Raven or a Commander or a Steeler, they're just ready to go. Najee Harris seems very happy over there in the Chargers. And yeah, he did have 1,000. I always liked him. There was times I was getting frustrated, but the way he would run over people was so much fun. So I'm gonna miss that, and we do need a bit of a bruiser back. But Najee, to me, I think he was always on the way out this off season, and I think from a Steelers coaching standpoint, it didn't really fit the scheme maybe that Arthur Smith was running. And then from another standpoint, the draft, just go and draft another running back, because I'm not a draft guy, but I have been hearing there are a lot, like 4 or 5 guys that could fit in right away. So it makes sense. He goes to the Chargers, start his career there, closer to home, because I think he was with LA. And yeah, he was definitely, like, people loved him, but it didn't have that explosion speed, because his longest carry was 47 yards, something like that, 44. But in a sense, like, I still liked him because it was just so fun to watch him to run over people. But he definitely will be missed in that sense of if we can't get 3 or 4 yards, and Warren's great, but if we can't get 3 or 4 yards, we're going to be in trouble.
Well, since you're not a draft guy, what position would you like in your first for your first pick?
I would probably say, to be honest, probably D-line. I think D-line's up there, and I'm going to start doing some homework on some of the players. But I just want a guy that's like 6'6", 400
We'll do
pounds.
something for you as well, Mark. We got you.
We
Hey?
got
We
you.
got some for
We
you.
got
We
you,
got
man.
some for you. I'll send some your way. Some prospects that might fit you guys at pick 20.
Yeah, I just want to, like, I wouldn't mind seeing that's not 6'4", just a big bloke up front. From maybe the first overall pick. There's been rumors around Steelers getting a quarterback in the first, but I've heard as well that it's not really the time to do that. I think the Steelers could go running back if they wanted to, but I think to be safe, really, we built the O-line up now with Jones and Falatanu coming back from his injury. I think to be safe is D-line, and whoever fits that, best player available, but I'd probably say D-line, because Hayward is now his 14th year or something. So he's like 36, and this could be his last year and next year's last year. Ogunjobi's gone. Keanu Benton into his 3rd year, I think. So you need to get that D-line more fresh.
So you bring up the D line. I believe this is TJ Watt is going into his last year under contract, and he is 30. I think he's going to be 31, or he is 31, somewhere around there. What are you guys going to do with him in regards to his, contract and his future?
Okay, so I saw a lot of you guys are on YouTube. We're all on YouTube, right? There's a lot of clickbait articles out there saying that you're going to trade TJ. I just want to say stop. It's not going to happen. Like TJ is your guy. I think to the end. Like Ben, like Cam, and he will be productive. Some were saying sell their house, sell the farm, trade away TJ, get back picks, but picks aren't always guaranteed. To look at the Browns and Jags and doing all these kind of things, and the Jets. Like the picks aren't always guaranteed to turn over your roster and win. If you've got a winning player, and yes, TJ didn't really appear too much in the last game, in the playoff game, and here and there, but he still needs help from other players. I'd say the Steelers are going to reach an extension and probably, I know it sounds funny, whatever Myles Garrett got, he'll get $1 extra. And by the way, I'm not a huge Myles Garrett fan either. I can't stand that bloke either. Since he'll get $40 million and $1.
The helmet, right?
Yeah, not a fan. Not a fan if you're trying to attack my quarterback.
Yeah, I can't stand TJ Watt. TJ Watt is a monster. Like, and when he's healthy, he's very frustrating.
My gosh.
Yeah.
He's definitely a Raven killer, man. He destroys us from the offensive perspective.
I believe he was the fastest guy to 100 sacks, if I'm not mistaken. Just a complete animal.
Something like that.
And JJ Watt was an animal too, and it's just he got a younger brother. Go figure.
I think it's tough as well for TJ Watt because the year that Myles Garrett won the Defensive Player of the Year, they talked about this pass rush win rate. However, this year, I think when Trey Hendrickson won the thing, it was talking about the sacks because they got 17. But like the year before that, TJ Watt got 20 or something or whatever it was, and had much far better stats than Myles Garrett. But Myles Garrett was also, I guess, the poster player in the picture for the NFL. So I think sometimes it's tough for TJ because he had his brother who JJ, he won 3 of them in a row, But for me as a Steelers fan, I want to see him continue to be a Steelers fan until he retires. I think also too from a player standpoint and a human standpoint, he just had a baby too. So I think like once he has the baby start growing up in 6-7 months, I think he'll be fully checked into football. Like that's got to be kind of worrying as a parent or whatnot, the first one and things happening in football and stuff. So if he signs a contract, I think he's going to be a Steeler for life. I hope he is, but I do know some fans want him traded, but it doesn't make sense to me.
No, I agree. It doesn't make sense.
Can you talk about how much you hate the Bengals? You were telling me.
Oh yeah, okay, all right.
Do your thing.
Hey, we got something in common.
Here it is. Here's how much I hate the Bengals. So I've been hating the Bengals for since Hutchman-Zada, Vontaze Burfict, Pac-Man Jones, all those.
Carson Palmer and them boys, Ocho Cinco.
I just hate them all.
Who's your mama? Is what
I call him. Hutchman-Zada because he wiped the terrible towel. Do you have that photo? If you bring that up, I don't know if you have that, but he used a terrible towel on his cleats. Wasn't a fan of that.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah, that pissed me off when I was because this is about maybe 10 years ago. I think this happened, this kind of stuff when I was younger. And then also Vontaze Burfict, he always played us really tough. I think the Bengals, they injured Le'Veon Bell in a playoff game. They were pretty dirty.
Oh yeah, and then the hit on
I remember that.
The hit on
and Joey Porter was involved too. There's a lot of hatred in this. Vontaze Burfict era was the 5 years of that was I called him Vontaze not perfect. I was you just didn't like him, right? So anyways, the hatred goes that far. Goes to then, and then obviously now you can't really hate if you're an NFL fan. You can't hate the Bengals now. Nothing's happening. There's no Joe Burrow isn't a villain. Joe Burrow is just the guy from Home Alone or whatever. He's just a normal guy.
I said the same thing.
Kevin! Yeah, he's out there wearing goofy suits and stuff, and I don't know. The Bengals their offensive. That's it. That's terrible. Can't be doing. No, do you know how sacred our terrible towel is? You can't do it.
I know.
Can't mess with it.
I know it is because every time we try to do something with it, we end up jinxing ourselves.
Yeah,
so
the Jaguars.
The
Jaguars did something really bad. I think Trevor Lawrence and someone else, the players did something to it. They stole it, and they haven't been right since. because they've like lost a few games in a row. But yeah, Hushmanzada took that. But the hatred goes that far back, right? And like I was telling you guys in the break room, I dead set like some Steelers fans aren't liars, but I would do it. If I knew for the next like 50 years that I'm alive that the Bengals would never win a Super Bowl, I would also give up my chance to not win one. I would take them with me. If I was guaranteed that there were Bengals fans out there from Cincinnati or around the world that never got to experience a Super Bowl, I would definitely make that happen. I fucking hate them so much. I cannot stand the Bengals. I hate the franchise. I hate the players. I want to see them lose. They at one stage they had like 29 years in a row they hadn't won a playoff game or something like that. 11,000 days. I was counting the days. And then Joe Burrow turns up, goes on a bit of a run, and then the Rams take care of him too. So they're now 0-3 in Super Bowls. Like I can go back. You guys are good too. You can go. If you ever feel down, just go watch Super Bowl. Just put a Super Bowl on. You know, you guys are what 2-1 or 2-2 or something like that. What are you guys? What are the Ravens?
2-0.
Yeah, you guys 2-0. You got a perfect record, right? Oh geez, he fake. Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah,
back old memories.
They knocked him down. But you guys, if you guys ever feel down, like I don't know, you get fired from work or whatever, just go watch a Super Bowl. You'll be fine. It'll fix everything. I can do that with 6 of them. I can do the 2 that I saw in my life. The Bengals can't. They can't do it. The Bengals fans are like, oh, blah, 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 our team's better. Yeah, but maybe this year. But you're still in 59 years, you've never won one. And I think it's fantastic. So as long as I live till 2075, that'd be 107 years or whatever it is of them never winning one. I'm taking them with me.
Well, I know how you feel about the Bengals. I feel the same way about y'all, but y'all already beat us and y'all won, so it doesn't really matter. But I just want to say it's going to be a perfect season coming up. I think we have one of the best teams, the Baltimore Ravens, I mean. But what can the Steelers do to offset the Ravens this season and maybe win a division again? Because you haven't won it in a while. But what do you think?
We were in the driving seat for so long, 10-3. I was thought we could have won last year 10-3 and get Mike Tomlin the coaching record, but we fell apart. Good question. I think the Steelers have to stop the run in terms of that is I don't know why we normally in that playoff game we normally take care of business with Lamar Jackson. We have a spy on him, or the idea is TJ Watt takes Lamar and someone else takes running back. No, they didn't do that. They stopped the running back, or was it vice versa? I don't know what they did, something like that. We stopped one of them, the other guy was free, so they have to get to Lamar, confuse him like they normally do in the past. They also got to stop the run with Derrick Henry. They can't allow 6 yards. So I think we can match each other's physicality, but definitely from the last playoff game was just stopping the overall run. I think the cornerbacks and now getting Slay from the Eagles can match up with your guys' receivers in that sense with Joey Porter and Minka and that kind of stuff. But if you burn through the middle like you did in the playoff game, or Lamar Jackson does the option run, I think we're toast. It's very tough.
Let me ask you, why do you think because we were talking about your quarterback situation earlier, but I didn't get your take on Justin Fields. Why not keep Justin?
That's another good question. I think overall, I think it's the money. I think the Steelers aren't maybe they didn't. Okay, so the Steelers last year they went with Justin Fields from day one, but that was based on not choosing him over Russell Wilson. It was based on Russell Wilson was injured, so he was injured for 4 or 5 weeks, and the reason why they made the change was because they went back to Wilson because it was a Mike Tomlin thing, and also he was quarterback number 1. So in reality, Justin Fields was just filling in for QB1, but people around the internet thought he was chosen as QB1. That wasn't the case. The reality was that Russell Wilson hurt himself on the sled. He was getting back to health. Jay Fields went 4-2, and then they went back to Russell Wilson. Now, I think as well, I didn't mind if they did bring him back, but I think the money might have been too high. It was like $20 million per year. And maybe I think what they're looking at now, if they don't go and sign another big quarterback, better or, more star power than Mason Rudolph, I think overall was the money. Because that's $20 million for a quarterback. And maybe the Steelers are looking for their quarterback in this draft or maybe the next year, from that sense. And Jets just moved on. Like that Jets. How the fuck Jets with Aaron Rodgers last year and thought they're going to do anything? It makes me laugh because that was silly. They have a better chance with Fields this year.
Got any commander questions? Because I know you got some commander questions.
Oh, me?
No, Cavante.
Well, I just wanted to make sure because I know the Ravens and Steelers rivalry is a thing. Like it's the only legit rivalry in football right now. So I wanted to make sure I want to give y'all time and y'all opportunity to be able to have y'all banter back and forth before we go down.
Yeah, because I can't even say y'all and the Cowboys ain't
nope,
no
nope.
more.
We just beat them for the first time in a while.
Yeah, but and then also the Cowboys stink right now. So
right, and now we're on the upswing and they are on the downswing. So it's not real. It's not what the Ravens and Steelers are.
They're going down like our country is now.
Our country is not going down. Stop it. Stop it, sir.
So if we take a drive down I-95, what positive things have you seen from the Washington Commander organization over the past I guess I'll say year and a half?
An easy answer is your quarterback.
Woo, man,
he's on fire. Like I saw him beat the Bengals when Joe Burrow was throwing like 1,000 yards. And Jaden Daniels was going off too. He threw that ball to Naomi Brown, I think it was. I think he was on fire. Like his deep balls are amazing. I think you guys have a franchise quarterback. I think that's shout out Chris Boswell. I think
best kicker in the division, right? Best kicker in the division.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well you guys
we love Boswell. We love Boswell.
I thought you guys would have cut Justin Tucker by now.
Hey, man, at least he stays out those.
Yeah, we thought so.
Shout out to Chris
he's been up to some mischief, that bloke.
Like Boswell. Very good. He had a good bounce back year, real quick. Not to cut you off, but he had a really good bounce back year because he had a Justin Tucker down year and came back really well.
Boswell is definitely one of the best, and I think I used to like that Justin Tucker was always named the best kicker because he was flying under the radar. I think he has like one of the best percentages for 50-yard plus, like 91% or something like that. But no, the Commanders, man, Chris Boswell is quietly good. And I hope we sign him again for a deal. But the Commanders, I think, you've got a franchise quarterback. I think the Steelers, that missing piece from Big Ben and trying to solve that with now 6 quarterbacks, and we won't turn into the Browns where they have, 30-something names on a jersey. But I think the Commanders really have just turned things around. And I didn't mind this signing too. I don't know if he's still there, but Austin Eckler, I thought he was good for you guys.
Yep, still here.
In that sense. I can't remember. There's one, is a big bloke D tackle called Payne or someone? Is he still there?
Deron Payne, yeah, he's still there.
Yeah, I remember he was a big bloke on your team. So I think that the Commanders, in that sense, I just think it goes back to franchise quarterback.
That's for you, Raj. Calm yourself. We got guess here. Raj loves Normani, so he may have a number 4 jersey in his closet.
No, you know what's funny about that too, right?
No, I won't.
The Steelers don't give out individual numbers. That's only the 3rd time they've done it. And J-Devil reminded me of the chat. And J-Devil, you still there? Can you please remind me again who wore them last time? Yeah, that's not. That's the other guy. But
Tugger is crazy.
The Steelers don't give out individual numbers. They've only given it out to Ingram and someone else. And then Ingram, he was the outside linebacker, he left. So that's pretty rare for the Steelers to do that, to give to a receiver an individual number. Like they didn't even give George Pickens 1. So that means a lot for to give him number 4, which was our old quarterback Kyle Allen's number. So Steelers have only done that 3 times in their 91 years. Oh, Queen too. My bad. Yeah, Queen. My apologies, Queen. Yeah, yep. That's your guy too.
Did you like that sign? Did you like getting Queen?
I did. I want to see a bit more from him this year. Maybe a bit more. I think
and Malik Carson, another former Raven. What do you think about that?
Yeah, we got all your Ravens. We got Deshaun Elliott too. we got Jeremiah Moon in our practice squad. We got 4 or 5. I think 4 or 5 Ravens. I don't know what's going on.
Deshaun Elliott, you have.
Yeah, that's right. Kyle Joseph and Melvin Ingram wore number 8 at one point, and yeah, Queen wears 6. So it's very rare for the Steelers to give out a single-digit number. But yeah, Deshaun Elliott was one of the best pickups last year. I think he was a bit better, made more plays than Queen, but I want to see Queen going to his role. And then if Malik Harrison, I heard he was like a third down. Not sorry.
That Hervick guy is pretty good. He was a 3rd-round pick. Speaking of draft, he was pretty good. He was pretty good. He made the play against the Ravens.
Yeah. So he's behind Highsmith as well, outside linebacker. But yeah, we got one of your Ravens, and Deshaun Elliott has been fantastic for us too, next to Minka. So they're bringing that physicality. But they definitely, I don't mind the signing of Queen and him being there for middle linebacker.
So in free agency, I had a lot of high hopes for the Commanders, and it seemed like we struck out everywhere. Myles Garrett was out there. The Browns did what they always do, jack stuff up. Trey Hendrickson, it's looking like, well, actually, I don't know what it looks like. I guess it looks like he's staying. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out where they're getting his money from.
I don't know either. I thought he was leaving, and next minute, like, we're going to give you a lot of money. Okay, I'll stay.
Well, they went up because the Commanders were in the running for Trey Hendrickson, but they went up on his price. They went from a high 3 to a low 2. Then they went to a 1. And I'm like, what are we talking about? Because on top of that, whoever gets him got to pay him too. So what do you think is going to happen with this whole Trey Hendrickson situation?
I think, judging if they can find the money, judging by what they already did with the receivers, they'll probably pay him. And that you don't want to lose a player like that anyway, right? Because he was the defensive player last year. 17 sacks is nothing to, sniff at.
Back to back.
Yeah, like he's on fire. Like and the Bengals don't have they lost their safeties. They lost, Joe Mixon. I thought by the way, the Bengals not paying Joe Mixon was really stupid. I thought they should have paid him money because I think he's one of the best running backs in the game too, and he really fit their system. But obviously can't pay everyone because they paid the tight end as well. But I think Joe Mixon going to the Texans, it was always funny to see him do really well. But yeah, I think they got to figure out their defense because I know they lost their safeties last year. I don't know if Jermaine Pratt was back there for the Bengals, but Hendrickson's DE pass rusher kind of guy. So if he has to leave because they spent too much money on the offense, what do you do? But I don't know. I wouldn't mind them making the playoffs and then getting booted again. It'd be funny to me.
Man, every time showing that, I just wish we would have got DK. Man,
that's a shock. We don't do moves like that. We don't do stuff like that. 5-year deal is the biggest deal, and I think in Steelers history. So
that tells me.
But you guys have been trying to get another receiver paired with Pickens for the longest time. So I mean, at least you guys were. I know, like, there's so much pushback saying that Tomlin isn't an offensive guy, but at least you guys were trying. I do give you guys credit for trying to get 2 receivers out there for the past couple seasons because you guys tried. I think it was Debo, Ayuk.
The Ayuk stuff killed me, man.
It's been
the Ayuk stuff wanted me to quit. I was going to quit YouTube. Like, honest to goodness, this Ayuk saga for 4 months killed me. Like every day it was it's almost like the A-Rod stuff. We were connected and it never happened, But yeah, last year the receiver position, I think they were maybe banking on Roman Wilson to step up, but he got hurt, and they went and got Mike Williams from the Chargers, and they didn't play him. So it just didn't. It wasn't and maybe overall it wasn't a fit with Russell Wilson. I don't know, but now they got two blokes on the outside, Pickens, who is unbelievable catching, and DK Metcalf, who could probably carry someone on his back and then also catch a ball at the same time. So it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I just think that it just re-signed Russ. You got DK right there. They got the chemistry. Bring back Russ. Let him cook one more time.
And they still could do that. It could be a possibility if they bring back Russ. I'm every day I see when you see the headline Steelers sign. As long as it doesn't say Aaron Rodgers, I'm happy. Honest to goodness, it could be anyone. I legit just don't want to see him in Pittsburgh. So if Russ is waiting to see how this pans out, the Steelers are, they go with Russ and use. Yep.
But your coach loves Aaron Rodgers, though.
I know.
Yeah.
That's just Omar Epps acting. That's what it is.
You think it was acting with the wink and they winking back and they.
Yeah, but it's kind of like
Omar Epps.
The more I watch Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin knows everyone. Like, he loves football, and that's why I do get a bit of my crew in here now, the Steel Nation guys. They know how much I can't stand fans complaining about Mike Tomlin because he's overall he's funny, he's witty, he can talk, but Like Mike Tomlin has, connections with everyone. For the longest time, I thought we'll take in Malik Willis in the draft because he had wings of Mike Tomlin. You know what I mean? He knows. Is that the guy from House?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I call Mike Tomlin.
We're convinced they're the same person. We've never seen them in the same place, Mark. We're trying to figure out.
He could be. You guys ever see that? We love it. We love the clip where Mike Tomlin is walking down from halftime, and one of the reporters is like, "Hey, Mike Tomlin, go for the win, man!" And Mike Tomlin just yells out, "Man, I'm fucking working." Like he just cursed this guy out. Like he's so funny. Like legit. Another reason why I want to like try and go to his Hall of Fame, because if I go to Mike Tomlin's Hall of Fame speech in say 5 years, 10 years time, I believe that every single Steeler will be there. Like all of them.
Oh,
from Brett Kiesel to Troy Polamalu, everyone's going to be there on the team. So I think fans who take it honest to goodness for granted, and you know what too, fans take this shit too seriously sometimes. You sit back, have a beer in Australia, you put your favorite team on. If you win, sweet, fucking oath, you move on. If you lose, you have a bit of a rant, then you come back next week. They take it way too seriously.
I got one more question for you. I know how you feel about Mike Tomlin, but how do you feel about John Harbaugh?
I think he's goofy, man. I think he's a bit goofy. Like he's probably obviously a good coach for you guys, and maybe your fan base half want to fire him and half want him to stay.
No, like a lot of people wants to fire him.
Yeah, it's time's up, right? But, but I think Harbaugh does make silly choices in certain play calls of like, you'll versus Steelers, it'd be a 4th and 2, go for goal and you miss it. Or something like that. I think there's a lot of times you'll see him make funny play calls going for a 4th and 1 when they're down by 7-3, a field goal could get them to 7-6. I don't know. I think, but the same kind of thing. I'm not going to really rag on him too much. He's been obviously a professional coach in this league. But we call him in our like circle, like Steel Nation Oz, and also I work for another company called Steel Curtain Network. They call him Wang Harbs because he just looks like a Wang, But I'm not really a fan of the other bloke either. Jim Harbaugh, like both Harbaugh brothers. Like to me, he's just a bit goofy. But I have heard some Ravens fans that they're kind of done. Like they need, maybe it is a bit long because Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin, the same pace?
Yeah.
17, 18 years.
Yep. Yeah,
but they always had the teams with a chance to win. So you can't complain too much in that sense, I think.
All right, Mark, before we get you out of here, I think Broderick Jones, your left tackle of the future, is going to be a stud. We did a draft profile on him. Cavante can vouch. We love him. Mr. Fashanu on the right side, I think you got your 2 tackles. What is going on with the...
I really liked him.
We really liked him. What do you think about the interior of the line? I see some weaknesses there. Who's going to protect this quarterback one?
Interior, I still believe it's Isaac Siamalo. I think he's left guard for maybe 1 year in his contract. And the
Will he be your Fa'alele, your breakout lineman?
He's Australian, that bloke.
I was about to throw that in there.
I think he played rugby league. He's a big fella too.
He's only been playing football like less than 5 years. That's crazy, right?
Yeah. Is he 6'6" or 6'5"?
He's like 6'8", man. He's like crazy big, like 380.
Yeah, I think he played rugby league in Australia. And then I think he did like because we have like up north in Queensland, we have like an academy for NFL now. So like punters but other players too. He might have been up there. But yeah, we have Isaac Siamalo on left guard. Broderick Jones will finally move to left tackle because Dan Moore got his money. But Dan Moore is more than right to get his money. And that partnership was always going to end with the Steelers. So thank you, Dan, did your job. And then, he walked away to get a bigger deal. So Jones moves to left. Zach Frazier from West Virginia, he's our center. He's going to be our center for the next 10 years. The right guard position, we had James Daniels. He was injured, then he signed somewhere else. And then we had, what's he, bench press? Is that a lot? 6'8"? Jeez,
yeah,
dude.
I told you 6'8". He's a big. Look. Hey, Mark, this is what we say for people like that. This is what we play. We play this.
That's one big son of a bitch.
Dude, that's like what's 385? What's 384 pound? Is that like? I can't do your pound.
So 225 pounds is like.
Let me see.
Yeah, let's let you do the metric.
175 kilos. Holy shit. Yeah. That's a lot.
He went
I don't
crazy.
know, Pound. That's
Went
heaps.
crazy. Yeah.
He's a big dude. Yeah, I think he played rugby league somewhere here in Australia. Then he got the chance over there. But yeah, our right guard will be Mason McCormick. I think he's coming back from his injury. And obviously Troy Faitanu got injured last year, so he's gonna be excited to be right tackle. And then you just build from the draft, probably draft and get some guys behind that. But that's gonna be our starting five.
85 and 1/8 inch wingspan, 35 1/8 inch arms, hand size of 11 inches. He was at the heaviest player at the combine, 384 pounds, 6'8".
What's he, your tackle?
Yes, he's a guard now. He's a right guard.
Oh, okay.
5'8" leg.
Yeah,
Kind of broke out.
probably better. Yeah, easier to play guard than tackle, right?
A lot of people don't like him. I like him. He's developed and only getting better. So we'll see. I do have one more thing to show you. Speaking of the, here you go. It's the video you were talking about.
Coach Tomlin, let's go for the Coach Tomlin, let's go for the win, man.
How can you hate that? I think it's hilarious. Man, I'm fucking working. Like, leave me alone.
I got to get
He's good, man.
for
That's
you.
why I bought this for $15 in Pittsburgh. Standing, man.
Mark,
That's
we
great. That is
appreciate
a
the
great
time,
trade, though.
man. You've been gracious. I know, the time difference working with us, man. Just being so gracious and your knowledge, your insight, your analysis. What are you working on next? How can the people keep up with you? And shout out all your wonderful Steelers, Australia Nation. They've been showing up for you tonight, man. Shout out to you.
Yeah,
all of you in the
100%.
chat.
Yeah. Big shout out to Sean, JW here. I think G in the chat too. We had as well another bloke here. I can't remember who the last one was, but yeah, JW, Sean, and Gene. There was another bloke up there. Oh, Joey as well. So I'm on Steelers Nation Australia on YouTube. I try and do a video pretty much every day if there's something to talk about. I do live streams too, talking football, because we are now. It's not as much rumor. There's truth to the fact in certain things that are happening. If George Pickens leaves, what's going to happen? That kind of stuff. But I pretty much just do all my content on YouTube. Steelers Nation Australia. I have a Facebook page too, as well. Steelers Nation Australia as well. Same thing. So I've been doing this now for 4 years. It's a lot of fun. Like, it's just fun talking football back and forth. The only thing is, like, sometimes I get a little bit tired because the NFL never ends. There's no stop. Like, it goes from like Super Bowl champion, the Eagles, and it's like, fuck, next week it's like scouting combine, and it just keeps going. So I've now realized I got to like give myself a bit of a break, but I am quite busy, as you guys are too. We all work normal jobs and shit. And then you hear breaking news, DK Metcalf, you're like, I got to talk about that. So no, I enjoy it, man. I enjoy having the community of Steelers here, going back and forth with you guys. Like I said, I don't hate you guys individually, but the Ravens can kick rocks. You know what I mean? So we've beat you guys, what, 8 to 10 times. You got us last time, So that rivalry is always there. It's fun there too. It's fun to go to those games. It's fun to be Steelers versus Ravens. But at the end of the day, we're all trying to grow our content on your channel, the Flex Zone podcast, on mine, Steel Nation Oz. And I don't hate the person. I don't hate the fan. I just hate the team. And I've been saying that though, we can both hate the Bengals together and hope they never win one. It's been 59 years. They never won one. Never.
Personal requests, so people can believe that I've actually went down under. Would it be too much to ask you to get a voice recording saying, this is Mark from Steelers Nation Australia, and you're watching the Flex Zone podcast, and that wonderful Australian accent? I gotta ask, man. I'd be remiss if I didn't. I'd be mad at myself. I'm gonna clip this interview for you. I'm gonna email it to you. We'll talk, but I do want to get that from you if it's not too much.
Alrighty, guys. Make sure you guys are checking out the Flex Zone. This is Mark here from Steelers Nation Australia. I back the Flex Zone, so check it out on all platforms, on YouTube. You're on Spotify. Wait, I fucked it up. You're on all, I just lied.
Hey, we'll work with that. I'll get the script over to your people. We'll get that recording added.
I was like, all platforms. I'm not even sure what you guys are on. I can't lie.
No, look,
I was like, man, I'm just making shit up.
I'll put something together, man. We'll get that, and I'll put that for the
Byron,
podcast.
for a second, I thought you were going to ask him to do the what is Austin Theory's partner's name?
What, Grayson Waller?
Grayson Waller, yeah.
What, the Aussie, oi, what is that?
Oh, you know what? I hate that.
You hate that? I was about to
you hate that?
I know you.
Hang on.
Oh.
I don't know what the American term is, but when someone asks me to say, someone says Aussie, and we have to respond oi, I won't say anything. I'm not, maybe I'm weird, but I don't like that. I'm not a fan. Like, I don't like to be, I don't know. I'm just not a fan of like, oi, I don't know.
No. What is the thing they did at the Elimination Chamber? Oh, what is the drinking from the boot?
Oh,
What
shoey.
is that?
Chewy.
Chewy. Okay.
Chewy, yeah, like you got a shoe, you pour beer in it, you drink beer out of a shoe.
Yes. That.
Now, me personally, two things. I don't want my shoes wet. And one, not a huge fan of like catching diseases, so I'd probably just drink it out of a glass, to be honest. You know what I mean? But that's the thing where you take your boot off, put beer in it, and then you drink out of your shoe. Oh yeah, he's Australian too, is he, that bloke?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that guy.
Kyle Fletcher, man, he is a young star in wrestling from Australia. If you don't know him, Mark, look him up. Gives us young Randy Orton vibes. He's fantastic.
I went to an event, a local event for the first time in like 10 years, ages ago with me and my mates, right? We were like 34, 35. I tell you what, it's one of the funnest places to be because in 2005, you can yell out pretty much anything you want. Like these wrestlers and you can yell out jokes and stuff like that. We were just having beers and stuff. It was one of the best times of my life because they're doing some crazy, insane shit. Like these independent wrestlers, man, are insane. Like it was so much fun.
Mark, you've been a ball of fun, even more than I could have imagined.
Thanks, guys.
You took us down under.
Fun.
I'm gonna email you. I'm gonna get that sound bite from you, man. You've been fantastic.
Let me do it again. Let me do it because I fucked it up.
Go ahead.
All right.
Do that.
All right. G'day, guys. Welcome back to the Flex Zone. It's Mark here from Steeler Nation Australia. A huge shout out to the fellas here. They've got a great podcast. Make sure you check it out on YouTube. It's been a lot of fun. That's
once again, Mark from Steelers Nation Australia. Appreciate you, man.
Hey, thanks, guys.
Thank you for spending your lunch hour with us.
You're great.
I got lunch now.
You're a great Steelers fan.
Yes,
great.
our new favorite Steelers fan. I'll be talking to you through email, man. I'll be sending you this clip so you can have it for your records, and I'll get that soundbite officially from you. But we can't wait to we'll do this again before the season starts, man.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, sounds good. I'll see you later.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you,
man. Guys, bye.
All right. Big shout out to Mark again from Steelers.
Yeah, man.
Australia. See, I told you guys we're going down under. Trust God's favorite host. I will take you where you need.